want you to picture this. You're scrolling through Google, you're looking for an apartment, and all you see are outrageous prices like these. And suddenly, when you get on Airbnb, you see that there's no shortage of homes. So, what's going on here? Hey, my name is Anita, and today we're going to be talking about San Diego's short-term rental regulations, which is a local policy issue that is reshaping my city's housing landscape. So, let's talk about the problem. As of 2025, San Diego has had over 14,000 active short-term rentals on platforms like Airbnb or VRBO, with an average nightly rate around $600 a night. Now, according to Ready Chapter 10 on systems theory, we need to understand public opinion in its social and in its historical context. And here's where it gets interesting. In neighborhoods like Mission Beach, 60% of the homes were being used as vacation rentals before the city even stepped in. I want you to imagine living in a city where 60% of your neighbors aren't even your neighbors. They're just tourists cycling in and out of the city. Meanwhile, San Diego's housing crisis has not gotten much better. According to a 2025 report by KPBS, the average rent in San Diego County increased by 52% from 2018 to 2025, which is like rising from $2,000 to $3,100 per month. Residents of Mission Beach, they argued that short-term rentals were taking up the places of long-term housing, turning it into accommodations for tourists. A resident in San Diego in a 2025 interview, he even went as far as to say as living in Mission Beach felt like you were living in a hotel. That's the type of community that you were living in. So how did our local government respond to this? This is where system theory really shows policymaking in action. So in May of 2023, San Diego implemented the Short-Term Residential Occupancy Ordinance, or better known as STRO. According to My City of San Diego and their official regulations, this created a 4-tier licensing system. Tier 1 allows part-time rentals of 20 days or less. These have no cap. Tier 2 permits you to share your home when the homeowner also lives on site. These are also uncapped and unlimited. But here's where it gets a little bit more restrictive. Tier 3 is for whole home rentals that are for more than 20 days a year. And these are capped at just 1% of the city's entire housing that's available. And Tier 4, well, that's specifically for Mission Beach, capped at 30% of the neighborhood's housing that's available. And as of November of 2025, all of the licenses are taken and there's a closed wait list. The ordinance requires the operators to obtain a license, file a quarterly utilization report, enforce a minimum of 2-night stays, and collect the city's transient occupancy tax. And I think people on both sides of this argument have been very vocal about this. Pro-housing advocates, well, they push for stricter limits, while the vacation rental industry, they are heavily lobbying against these. So is San Diego's short-term rental regulations, is this policy really working? I think the answer really just depends on who you ask. People in support of these regulations argue that 1, it's making sure that our city isn't being overrun by tourists, and 2, that our housing is being available for people who are actually going to be staying in those homes for long term. I mean, the city did cut its number of short-term rental vacation homes from 13,000 to over 6,000, so it did cut it in half. But there are some unintended consequences. According to a report done by the city of San Diego, this month, in January of 2026, in areas where there weren't as many Airbnbs, prices of hotels literally soared to over $417 a night. And that was just the average price. So, obviously, people who own their homes here are arguing that we should be able to get in on some of this money too. And last month, the San Diego City Council rejected a proposal that would tax vacation rentals $5,000 per bedroom annually, which just really shows you that this debate is far from being over. When we use systems theory to analyze this, we see that policymaking, it truly never ends. It's ongoing. While some of San Diego's short-term rental regulations have addressed some of our concerns, they've also created other concerns like higher hotel prices, maybe pushback from property owners, and also just challenges on how this can be enforced. So looking forward, San Diego will continue to need to balance the needs of communities like Mission Beach, tourism economics, and also property rights. So the real question is, who's going to be the one to continue to strike that balance? Thank you so much for watching with me today, and let's keep the conversation going about housing in San Diego.